Still, the movement has its critics.
My son's 6. This is his book. Look at this. Lamp. Egg.
All right, y'all. So we already know about the school system. We already know about private schools and charter schools. We already know about homeschooling, but unschooling movement, I've never heard of it. So let's go ahead and check and see what they're talking about here. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Blue, and this is a channel where we find the truth, seek understanding, and be the light. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into this video. Apparently, there's this movement called unschooling. It seems like it's just homeschooling, but I don't know what the unschooling part of it is. I guess just people just getting into the mindset of homeschooling, which I don't disagree with. But let's see exactly what they're talking about, because I have some thoughts into that. But let's go ahead and get right into it.
While millions of kids are returning to classrooms,
let's go.
For Raven Kramer and her 4 children, this
it's called a blue crayon.
Is what the school year looks like.
They're not registered in a school.
No.
This is their school.
This is the school.
And this is their classroom.
Yes, this is their classroom, the world.
That's because the Kramer family has adopted a style of learning called unschooling.
You don't have to send your kids back to jail.
So just homeschooling? I mean, is it really a movement?
I mean, school.
Unschooling is trusting yourself and trusting your child.
Unlike homeschooling, unschooling includes no lesson plans and no testing. Instead, relying
on interesting.
On self-directed education, letting children learn while following their own interests in their everyday environment.
All right, keep your eyes sharp though, okay?
Unschooling is I trust my kids are going to learn what they need to learn when they need to learn it.
Have any of your kids ever been in a formal classroom in a school?
No, they have not.
Never.
No.
Instead, she says they learn through daily outings along with games.
Okay, that would be a 7 times 6. Splat. Rock puts out gold.
And some traditional lessons like reading and writing, all while both parents work from home.
We're going to nature preserves, we're going to parks, we're going to play places. We are outside probably 5 to 6 hours a day, and that's on like the lower day.
What about the resources? I mean, is this something that is a real option for a family if they're working full-time jobs?
Absolutely. Our family is a dual working family. I'm very blessed. I own my own business. So I only work maybe 3 to 4 hours a day, 5, 6 days a week. And I just work opposite shifts with my husband.
So if your child says, I don't want to learn math, do they just not learn math?
We're not going to not learn math that day. We're going to find a way to make math more fun for them. Let's play Splat. Let's play Pokemon. Pokemon's actually an extremely mathematical game. Oh, you think you're going to win?
Mm-hmm. So, okay, see, I'm not even going to hold you guys. Some of y'all are going to call me stupid. But I was one of those kids when I was younger that didn't read much. I wasn't forced to read. And because my parents had to work all the time. And I'm going to get into that. But there was really no discipline as far as like making sure that I read, making sure that I do my math, making sure I do things. It's kind of just telling me, yo, make sure you just do it. And there's no enforcement to make sure I do it. So how did I learn? I learned with actual good TV shows, public shows, which rest in peace PBS. But Between the Lions, let's see, Reading Rainbow, all these public shows that they had. And then on top of that, my reading came a lot from video games. I had a Nintendo 64, and a majority of the games weren't voice animated. They didn't have voice animators. So you had to read, or else you weren't going to beat the game. So that was my way of reading. I figured out how to read and pronounce, certain words that a lot of people have struggle pronouncing now. Did I read extensive, like difficult words that I use on a day-to-day? No, but I knew how to sound words out because of it. But that's just my 2 cents. But we'll get more into the whole parenting aspect once we see exactly the rest of this.
Not today, son.
Hey guys, can I see what you're learning? Do your friends go to traditional school?
Yeah. Some of them.
Yeah? What do they tell you?
They tell us you're lucky that you're homeschooled.
And they're not alone. While there's no national data on unschooling, nearly 6% of school-aged children in America are now homeschooled, which has more than doubled since 2019.
So we don't teach our children anything.
Still, the movement has its critics.
My son's 6. This is his book. Look at this. Lamp. Egg.
Some education experts argue that it can lead to gaps in foundational skills and limited
Yes.
socialization, while others say there's simply not enough research yet.
Unschooling is probably not for every kid and probably not for every parent. However, I think there's some evidence to suggest that it works very well when you have a parent that's able to facilitate the learning well, and where you have a child who's very self-directed and how they want to learn.
Something the Kramer family says they've accounted for.
I feel like a lot of parents would say, look, if I let my kid self-direct, my kid's going to be eating pizza and watching TikTok all day. How do you avoid that?
Oh gosh, well, I would never give a child a cell phone, number one. And unschooling doesn't mean no boundaries. You know, my kids have free play, but they only have free play access to all the toys and things that I have in the home. They can't turn on a TV by themselves.
So I don't have too much in regards to this aspect. No lessons, no teaching, no grades. That's very interesting. So the idea with homeschooling is that there's still somewhere where they have to report specific grades, their education, their grade, their testing, and all that stuff. There's still that level, and I think that's very. I personally, I don't have kids that's homeschool because I have a college student and I have a 2-year-old about to be 3-year-old. So homeschooling has come to my attention, and I think that would be preferred. But then that also goes into the flexibility that's needed and that heavy decision that's needed to be made between the parents. Now, going back, well, I'll get back to that in a second. But when we're talking about no grades, no testing, no nothing, it's like, it's just weird. And what the mother was saying was that there are boundaries. There are some type of, program, some routine that they got going on. It's just not monitored. Whereas to I think in New Jersey, they're trying to change homeschooling to where the school system or the government or some government agency have to monitor or be aware, or they're actually going to choose a curriculum that the students have to learn and stuff like that, which kind of almost half defeats the purpose of homeschooling. But based off of what she's saying and based off of what the other parent was showing, it's like it's giving off this weird vibe that we're not teaching them anything, or we're not sitting down and we're teaching them math. We're not teaching them, which she was doing. She was teaching them math, but I don't know. This unschooling thing seems like uneducating. And that's what it sounds like. I know that's not what it is, but that's what it sounded like to me. And like I was mentioning before, the whole idea of homeschooling, I'm completely for homeschooling, again, because of the way that my mind has kind of been shifted in regards to the school system and the things that I'm starting to see. I'm more on the side of, yeah, we need to homeschool our kids. Now, the problem with that, what are your resources looking like? Are you even able to do so? She can say that this is a great thing in that, and she didn't say specifically that all kids should do this, but that's what's working for her and her family. And this is good. There may be somebody out there that wants to do this, but can't. And as much as I hate to make this seem like a race thing, when you have both parents that are working and they work jobs that are, jobs that are out and this partially comes with the idea of having to make that sacrifice for the household, which means you have to be financially stable in order to make this happen. I think that's the biggest takeaway. If you're going to allow this to happen, if you're going to allow homeschooling to happen, of course, one of the parents actually has to be home in order to do that and be able to make the time in order to teach the kids and then have the capacity to teach the kids, which I think a lot of parents, and especially in the African community, they don't have the patience for. And y'all can call me racist or whatever. I could be the case, but just looking at the way that, and again, I've worked in the school systems. A lot of these parents, both of them work. Not only that, a lot of these parents are single parents. So if they're working somewhere and they have to keep that job in order to keep everything going in the household, you see where I'm going with this. It's going to be kind of hard for you to be like, yeah, go ahead and just homeschool your kids. How am I going to work? Oh yeah, just find a new job. It's not easy for a single parent to just get up and find a new job, but that's going to be a heavy sacrifice and heavy risk that they would have to make just to be able to get their kid to this point. Will it be worth it? I mean, depending on the parent, depending on how bad that they want it. Now, it's easy for somebody to get to that point where they can homeschool the kids if they're like in my situation. Yeah, we have some setbacks, but I definitely feel the need that, yes, at some point I do want to have my kid homeschool, or at least be able to have more education being done in the home, which would require her to not be at school too much. But that's just my preference. And because of where we are economically, we can get to that point, and we plan to get to that point to where we can make that decision, where if my wife can be a stay-at-home wife or work part-time, then it'll be okay. It's not going to hurt us in the bank. But that's a mindset that I have. I'm not sitting here too worried about all this extra stuff that I don't want to bring race up into this, but it becomes important because we really have to put focus on our kids and less so on things that we want. Will we have wants? We'll always have wants. 100%. We're always going to have wants. But as a parent, a majority of the time, you have to put aside your wants for your kids' wants and for your kids' needs, for your kids' future. You have to discipline your kid in the way that you wish so that they can grow into it and not steer away from it. It's just as simple as that. Will it be easy to homeschool your kids if you're working somewhere and you only have such a high level of education? Like, it's difficult for my parents to do such things because all they knew was to work. And then my mom, she didn't really have, she came to America in her 30s. She didn't know much English, so she worked where most Haitian women worked, as a nurse in a facility. My dad just so happened to have the education, but he also was a breadwinner in the house. So both of them were working, and there wasn't much opportunity for me to be homeschooled. Not that they even knew what homeschooling was or even thought that that would even be a good idea. But honestly, depending on the kid, it works. I've seen it work, and I would like to be in that position. But the whole unschooling thing, I definitely think that we definitely need to have some type of structure. I'm not too big on the whole freeness. I'm not too big on that. I can allow some freeness, but only for a certain amount of time. There has to be a point where we're like, all right, let's get back to work. But not the whole day. You know what I'm saying? There's structure. There has to be structure to this. And I'm pretty sure that the mom here has structure to it. But the other mom, she didn't give me vibes that she did. And is that judgmental? Yeah. But I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Peace.